My name's Heather Knight and I'm a senior archaeologist with MOLA. Right now we are standing on the construction site of the stage. This is at the heart of a £750 million development here in Shoreditch. If we were standing here on a summer's afternoon in the late 1590s, we'd be standing just outside a playhouse. The building had quite an interesting life. We don't really know who built it or when. We know it was operating in 1577 and later in the 1590s became home to the Chamberlain's men, one of the most famous actors, I guess, being William Shakespeare. So we know some of his plays like Romeo and Juliet and Henry V were performed here. So we know the building carried on as a playhouse up into the 1620s, but we don't actually know, or we didn't know until we started digging the site, what happened to it at the end of its life. This is a really special site for several reasons. One is obviously it's the site of the Curtain Theatre, and that's one of only a handful of these Elizabethan and Jacobean playhouses. And the other is what's going to happen to these remains once we've finished digging them. Once we've dug down to the 16th century remains, they'll be briefly covered up and then they'll be incorporated into a purpose-built visitor centre which is at the heart of this new redevelopment. Even at the beginning of the 21st century, we really didn't have an idea of where the Curtain Theatre was. We knew it was built somewhere within a pasture called Curtain Close, that's where it gets its name from, which was a field off Curtain Road. And there used to be a plaque on one of the buildings on Hewitt Street that says, "This is the site of the Curtain." So another interesting thing about this site is we've dug a handful of these really rare playhouses already. We've looked at the Rose in Southwark, part of the Hope and part of the Globe, also over on Bankside, and the theatre, which stood about 200 metres up the road from where we are now. But it may well be that this is the last of those playhouses we get to look at archaeologically, because there were only ever a few to begin with, and we've already lost several before archaeology became part of the planning process in 1990. So things like Newington Butts, which is under the Elephant and Castle roundabout, and the Swan on Bankside that was probably destroyed in the 1970s. So this is the last one we'll actually get to see.